Game number 4 on Secluded Expanse. An exciting one. Excuse me. Hold on, I'm too excited. My body can't handle it. An exciting one, to say the very least. Secluded Expanse. A lot of the main gods have been used now in this series. So we're going to see people going deep into their pocket picks here. And we'll see what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ra on this map or see a Loki on this map either. So a bit of a spicy one. Could also see Gaia here. Could see a whole bunch of different exciting gods. We'll get into it right away as the players spawning in over here. As we see in the bottom of the map, we do have Kronos for Shelty. His opponent today in the red color playing as Poseidon here. We've got Ulysses. An absolute cracker of a matchup. Have barely seen this one in this tournament thus far. I think we've seen a Poseidon versus Oranos only thus far. Poseidon versus Oranos. So no Poseidon versus Kronos, so it does play a little bit differently. We'll see if Shelty is just going to go for an all-out Kronos rush here, or if he's just going to go for the stock standard kind of, what do you call it? The stock standard 4-minute advance time here, because he hasn't found his hunt. He's not putting down his economic guild. I think that he's kind of mis-scouted this a little bit. So on Secluded Expanse, you always have hunt somewhere around your town center. So if you take a quick look at the map, it's probably going to be down the bottom. There it is. So you want to be sending your oracles around the sides first, scouting all around your outside before moving forward to find where your hunt is to decide if you want to drop an economic guild or not. But Shelty definitely deciding to not go for that economic guild here. We'll see how things are going to go as Ulysses happily getting himself all of his hunt on this location. He needs to go and find himself his secondary hunt here. There is always 2 lots of hunt on this map. It is effectively Oasis style hunt here, which means you get a spawn of monkeys, you get a spawn of giraffe or gazelle, and you get a home spawn of zebra or gazelle. And it can equal up to around about 3,000 food? 2,500 food? Basically 5 giraffe, 5 zebra is the max spawn here. So 2,500, I believe, is the max spawn. And then you get the baboons or monkeys or whatever you call them, which are about 700 food total there as well. So you can have a lot of food on this map, as we're still seeing the scout trying to figure out where the hunt is. If we take a quick look on the map here, we do see the hunt over here. So we've got the hunt on these locations for both players. Very juicy, very big, lots of resources over there. It's in a really difficult to scout place here, because normally you just kind of trying to find it and it's really good. As we see Ulysses kind of panicking here. He's like, where is my hunt? As he sends his scout over here, he will spot these goat on this location, sending them home, and he does spot his gazelle here. Going to be happy about that one. He does have the lure here to bring in some gazelle into his home base, so he should be fine, but he did drop the granary onto this location, which is a bit of a mistake there. You don't want to be dropping a second granary on berries basically at all on nearly any map with Greek, if you can help it. As we will be seeing that advance time coming through very, very shortly here for Shelty. He's definitely going to be able to get a very crisp 355 in this game. As we see the Katoskopos moving through, still finding goats everywhere. If we take a look at what the goat count is, it's 9 goats there to 6 goats, as it looks like Shelty hasn't been able to find the herdables at all in this game, as Ulysses trying to get himself the food he needs to advance to the next age. Haven't seen the temple up just yet. A little bit late for Ulysses, to be honest. There's a little thing that I think it's a habit from Greek players for so long here, which I think it needs to be a habit that gets kicked a little bit, is you don't need 2 villages on gold. You just simply don't need it. Unless you really want that early game Theseus out, which I don't think is that important. You don't need 2 villages on gold at all, as we see Ulysses trying to throw up his temple with like every single villager in the world here. And he will be trying to advance here for his 345, or what's he doing? Gets one more villager out, even though he got his temple up. He gets his Theseus out, and he will be advancing. We see the temple moving forward here. Very, very exposed gold mine on the front, as well as these units over here. Has Shelty spotted this, though? He hasn't spotted the hunt in this location. That's such a big win for Ulysses here. He's going to be able to eat all of that, as we do see the Theseus coming out, as the heroes coming through in onto this position. The oracles need to get Valid here, as he does click the Valor. He's taken a lot of damage already from the Townsend. He's going to be retreating away here before starting this fight over here. Is that Theseus doing a lot of damage there. We do see the Ulysses villagers grabbing a lot of gold and wood here. Is Ulysses just going for a second town center here? I think Ulysses is trying to call Shelty's bait here in this game. What is that deconstruction? That is so early there from Shelty. Normally you wait until a watchtowers comes through. As you see the Catoscopods getting taken down there. The rush is well and truly on the way here. Funnily enough, I don't think the second counter, when you do these rushes, this is a mistake that I think Kronos players make. When you do these rushes, I don't think you should time shift your secondary counter barracks until a little bit later, because you can just build the units out straight away and get your units across the map faster than the time shift comes through. In a lot of situations, you will be seeing Shelty with a lot of resources in the bank here. We do see that Theseus has done a lot of damage there as the Centaur coming through. Gonna have to wait until about the 6-minute mark here for that Valor to come back up to be able to actually put pressure in over here. Ulysses got tons of gold in the bank here, and it kind of looks like Ulysses is just over-gathering gold here in order to pull off of the gold mine a little bit later and deal with this rush that's coming through. Shelty, on the other hand, he hasn't moved over onto this gazelle just yet. He hasn't thrown an economic guild in to get himself that hunting dogs. And I think he needs to think about getting himself some catapulties here, in all honesty, as the villagers do pull off this hunt over here a little bit early. But he gets all the hunt he needs there as the Promethean scouting around on this location. Now the Hippolyta is out. We see an archery range coming down as well for Ulysses, preemptively, as it were, as the Terma coming through, going to try and get some damage done onto that location there. Is the Promethean going to get taken down? Shelty getting pushed back very, very hard here, as it looks like Ulysses' defense here is well and truly underway. Beautiful defense here from Ulysses. We'll see how it's going to go as the house coming down over here for Ulysses as well. Maybe a little bit of a funky house placement. Not exactly sure what that's about. Maybe he's trying to block off this location to be running through here as the Terma coming in, trying to get some good damage done onto the Hippolyta. Good micro there from Ulysses. Yet again, he's so good at this game. Always on top of those sorts of things here. As Valor comes through, that's going to be a big, big help moving forward. Where did the Centaur go? It's sitting on the back here defending that wood line for the time being, as more Terma coming in onto this position here. As it looks like one villager did finally get picked off there. 57 population for Shelty. He needs to throw down a house, as he is going to be chucking that down. You have to think about getting into that third military building now if you're Shelty here. Around about 6 minutes 30 into the game, you're going to have a lot of resources. Look at them all, 400 resources in the bank. And I think a third military building making himself some Murmillo here wouldn't go astray in this game. So we do see the army starting to push forward. Catapulta here getting some good damage, or will be getting some good damage done as the Hippocon pulling back. It's 55 population for Ulysses. We do still have ceasefire remaining. You have to remember that here, as this villager over here will get shanked down or jabbed down a little bit by the Terma, as they kind of all love tap him once, but enough love taps does mean a dead villager. As the villagers still doing what they can. Another house coming down over here, trying to stay nice and safe, trying to block this position in as best as he possibly can, as Shelty just going to continue to move in and out on this position. The other option here for Shelty would be to get himself watchtowers and then time shift his watchtowers in here to push off of this gold mine. Does cost a lot of resources, but he's got plenty in the bank as an idea. But I think potentially the extra barracks wouldn't go astray here, but he doesn't quite have the army for it yet. And now the counter barracks actually coming down, so he wants to go pure Terma catapultis here, which isn't a bad idea, because I mean his opponent is basically just pure Hippocon Toxotes, as he does snipe down a random stray Toxotes on that gold mine, as the villagers still getting shot down over here, as that Terma ball starting to get closer and closer to a very scary position here. The catapult is in, the Promethean going to be path blocking this one as the villagers getting pushed off of this location. You'd think ceasefire would have to come through here for Ulysses. All he needs to do is get himself probably another minute of gathering if he just brings a whole bunch of villagers over onto this gold mine during the ceasefire, and he's going to be able to get himself up to a decent amount of units to defend over here. He's just not able to do it, As the Toxotes trying to defend as best as they can. The Terma trying to pull through, taking out those Toxotes. The Toxotes have got 15 range. The Terma have got 12 range, so it is a very difficult one to make work, as the Terma can just continue to just throw their javelin through, pick off villages, pick off everything else here. He's still getting a little bit overzealous here with his army. 87 of 115 population, as this counter barracks coming through as well. As we see another Valor coming in, as the pressure is just mounting on this location. Another villager getting taken down here, as another villager almost going down as well, as he does manage to take that out. Still trading villages for army is exactly what Shelty is wanting to do here. 11 citizen to 25 villagers is still kind of close if you ask me. One thing I wouldn't have minded was the storehouse actually on this location here, as we finally see Ulysses saying, all right, ceasefire here. I feel like he could have done that a little bit earlier, as he's starting to get out some center, which I actually think is a great idea. There is no real bad... Maybe 5 villagers on the temple is a little bit too much. 3 villagers on temple probably enough to get the center out that he needs. But he does need to get himself Sylvan Law there as well. I see Centaur are going to get picked off very, very quickly, as Shelty throwing farms down. He doesn't know there's Hunt here. He put farms down? Does he have Plow? He has got no economic guild here at whatsoever. Potentially Shelty just going to try and drop a town center behind all of this as well, as his resources starting to float a little bit, sitting at full population. The other option, which I actually think is potentially an option which we don't see very often, which would be very, very strong here, would be to throw an armory down and go straight in onto like copper mail and copper shields, as well as copper. Just get all the copper upgrades in order to get a gold staff here, as the villager's going to pull off this gold mine. Ulysses now sitting at 14 gold now, and basically Ulysses here has to go for an attack here. The villagers are going to be looking to try and move onto a different location there, as deconstruction does get thrown down onto that temple to prevent any more of those centaur from coming out for a little bit here, potentially blocking the Sylvan Law that came through, as the villagers will try and take out that Promethean there. It's good marker from Shelty to be pulling away from that location as the villagers come over onto this gold. Will Shelty be aware of this or not is the big question here. What is happening in this game? It looks like my computer is struggling a little bit, as the units trying to pull forward. See if that fixes things. As the Terma moving over here onto this location to try and attack these villages. He's looking for gold villages. The Promethean can move around as well. There's only 2 villagers on this location. As the villagers moving forward here, we see that the Hippocon going to try and surround this, and Ulysses does find himself a really good position here. Do we see the town center up? Do we see an armory up? The gold is expired over here as well, as the army trying to push through onto this position. The majority of Toxotes just doing so much damage over here, as Shelty has to pull back over onto this position. He's still not scouting around. I love this play from Ulysses. He's gotten himself enough villagers on this gold mine to make it seem like he's not on a second gold mine, but that is it. That is it. As now we see Ulysses, more villagers getting taken down, 31 to 12, as the villager count's still very, very close here, even though villagers just keep seemingly falling on this position. As the Hippocon moving around the map, we do see the villagers searching for a town center here. As they move over onto this location, they will spot that one. There's a town center in both of these black locations, or both of those spots over there. Shelty will be able to throw that down fairly soon here. Sylvan Law actually is coming through for Ulysses here, as the Terma still trying to push through. There is only the one centaur on this position for the time being, though, as Ulysses gold mine getting closer and closer to finishing up. But Ulysses just about to get up to full population here, as Shelty is motoring ahead in population in town centers. He does have majority Terma here, which, while they're normally not the best, because of the low hunt here, Ulysses has kind of had to go for Toxotes, which means that the mass Terma ball actually ends up being really, really strong here. As we see the units just moving straight into the base over here, trying to get a little bit of fighting underneath the town center, as the Terma trying to pick off these Toxotes. You really want to be... One of the big difficult things with Terma is the fact they shoot really slow, right? And they do tons of damage because of that. But that means when you send like 25 Terma to attack one Toxote, you've basically killed that Toxote 5 times over, because it takes 3 spears to kill an unupgraded Toxote when you have the medium upgrades, 3 spears. So really what you want to do is split your Terma up into groups of like 6 so that you can account for the 50% miss chance that the Terma has on the first throw. And then you just target different Toxotes per Terma to make that work. As we do see the Hippocon coming back in here, Ulysses still trying to make this fight work. As the town center getting closer and closer, we're seeing villagers moving forward here to grab these berries, but Shelty still doesn't know that those exist over there. If we take a look at him, yeah, he's got no idea that there's hunt on that location there. As the Catapulti's still doing some good damage over here onto those Hippocon. We do see the Toxotes focusing down the Catapultis nicely here, but now the Terma getting through onto this location. We do have those Hero Terma to take out the Centaur polemark there if he needs to, as it looks like Ulysses' gold villagers here still happily grabbing this gold mine over here at 6 gold villagers apiece. As the Hippocon getting some good damage done here as well. We see the 3 Centaur pushing through onto that position now. Things looking a bit scary for Shelty because he does have a handful of Hero Terma here, but he doesn't have a really good answer to the Centaur polemark. Potentially, Ulysses could just throw everyone onto wood and just make nothing but Centaurs here and have a good game of it. As Shelty still hasn't quite worked out that the Shelty still hasn't quite worked out that this gold mine is getting grabbed over here. I'm surprised to see that. He's got this 1 Promethean Offspring scouting over here. If we take a look at Shelty's perspective, this is just classic Shelty. He hates scouting. He's got that one location that isn't being checked. He's still getting good damage done, but he does have the potential to throw this position that he's worked so hard to get here. Still picking villagers off left, right, and center here. Hippocon still coming out, but it's not going to be enough. As the Hippocon getting taken out over here, we see the Catapult is getting some good damage done onto this location. The Toxotes over here getting cleaned up pretty quickly over there as well. As the Hero Terma coming through here to try and take out the Terma on the back. We see Shelty having to pull back here. We've got 90 population of 130 as he does drop down yet again. Very, very close to Ulysses' resources here. Ulysses at this point, he's got 0 food in the bank, trying to grab these berry bushes here to keep his hopes of building villages alive. But the Centaurs here doing a lot of damage. Oh, we see one of the worst choices there for Terma heroes getting created there. You want to create a Terma at the full HP Terma, but nothing really else there. As Shelty does have a little bit of favor in the bank. He's got this second town center up. He's not building villages out of it just yet, but he's got the farm set up. 18 villages at this moment here as the villagers getting cleaned up yet again. 1 Hero Terma over here can take out those Centaur, but more Terma are coming through for Ulysses as he's doing his best attempt at staying alive in this game here, trying to make the Centaur work. Imagine if he had like Cyclops or something. Could be a completely different story. He doesn't have the food though, obviously, but Cyclops would be really, really strong here. As the Terma get really close to these Centaur polemark, going to continue to create those. He doesn't have the upgrade to make these cheaper. Good micro there from Ulysses to keep his Terma alive. Oh, sorry, his Centaur alive as the Terma getting picked off ever so slightly here. Nice play there from Ulysses as we see the Hippolyta getting cleaned up. These villagers getting cleaned up as well. Ulysses right now sitting at 675 gold here as Shelty still motoring ahead in this game, but he does have that bottleneck of favor that he has to work through. He gets 10 favor-ish a minute here as he gets 5.4 favor a town center. So nearly 11 favor a minute from those town centers, which equals roughly 3 heroes a minute or 4 heroes a minute. As we do see the Terma going to be moving over here. The villagers going to be leaving this gold mine. Moving over here is the town center going to get grabbed. Ulysses with the Spidey senses as Shelty will see this gold mine, shake his head and go, how did I let 2,000 gold get grabbed here? As we see the villagers, they're moving in to try and grab these gazelle over on this location as Shelty will see these villagers here. He's going to move over there immediately to deal with these. The lion's also going to be helping out ever so slightly on this location as well as the raids now coming through over here. We see the army coming back for Shelty. Is he going to make some Hero Terma to deal with this as 1 Centaur does go down? He does get a couple of attacks there onto the Centaur as it does manage to retreat away. The army now coming back here to pick off these villages here. We've got 19 citizens to 27 villages here. Shelty not paying attention. Yes, he does pay attention there. He's going to pick off every one of these villages as this gold mine is going to be coming back onto for Ulysses. But in that moment, Ulysses does decide to tap out. Shelty too far in front, and Ulysses doesn't want to keep playing it. Shelty managing to equalize here in this game, forcing a game number 5 here. Every single one of these games thus far has been incredibly decisive for the winner here. We'll see if game number 5 is going to be a little bit less, just a little bit closer or not. But both these players picking a strategy which completely dismantles their opponent here in this one. Wonderful play here from Shelty. We'll see if he can keep it going for game number 5 or if Ulysses is going to be able to win that one. We're going to be moving into, I think it's Arabian Basin. Get excited for it. If you guys enjoying this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch or from the YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.